Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to the craziest laws in every American state from Lost in the Pond. And will these be like laws that are followed? I don't know. I mean, I assume they probably won't because some of them will most likely be pretty crazy to hear. But then in actuality, they're not really followed through on. So they're just sort of written in the law books, but they're not really, you just not really followed or whatever. But we're going to check this out and see. Maybe they are. Maybe he'll explain that they are. I'm not sure. But links are also in the description to my Patreon where you can see reactions that I can't post to YouTube. But yeah, let's jump into this and see some of these laws.
Persons could land in jail for up to 10 years for stealing an alligator.
That's Florida. That's 100% Florida.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Lost in the Pond. I'm Lawrence Brown, and recently I was checking out the channel of Sean in Scotland, who does a lot of pieces on Scottish life and things of that nature. And one of the videos that he did recently was a video about sort of weird Scottish laws, and it got me thinking back to the early days of the internet, weirdly enough, because at the beginning of the internet I was into a website called dumblaws.com, and until I saw Sean's video I'd forgotten all about this website. So I was sort of curious to see whether it still existed, and it does. And one of the things that I really liked about dumblaws.com at the time, I mean I was 19 years old, was that it catalogued a lot of the sort of weirder state laws here in the United States. This was back when I lived in England, so my fascination with America was merely one that was quite removed. Well, now that I've returned to this website after all these years, it's got me thinking just how absurd, and for the vast majority of these, how unenforced they are.
Okay, there we go.
And so I thought it might be quite interesting to just sort of react to them here on air. Now, it is important to note that in some of these cases, the law in question is really down to the uploader's interpretation of that law rather than the law specifically being for that thing. But in some cases, the actual letter of the law does state that the thing in question is true. So in part one, I'm going to go through 25 different states alphabetically, the first 25 alphabetically, and just sort of react to one weird law taken from this site for each state. And so part two will be coming next week, so hello to future Lawrence. So without further ado, let's get underway and see what balmy laws America has on its books.
Alabama.
In the state of Alabama, bear wrestling matches are prohibited.
Do you get bears in Alabama? I didn't even know you get bears there.
Which to me is a shame because, while I am a sort of pretty huge animal rights advocate, two bears going toe-to-toe in a ladder match sounds hilarious.
Every video I see of his, he always refers to wrestling. He loves wrestling. I mean, I guess he grew up in the era of, like, when it was just at its peak, but he loves his wrestling. Or WWE.
Oh, this could only happen up north, couldn't it?
Or WWF at that point.
In Fairbanks, Alaska, specifically Fairbanks, it is considered an offence to feed alcoholic beverages to a moose, which, I mean, when you think about it, I think meese, because that is the plural, I've decided right here and right now, I think meese will always find a way to procure alcohol, so surely it's better to teach them to drink responsibly. I mean, why do you think so many get killed by trucks?
Fair enough.
In Arizona, donkeys cannot sleep in bathtubs.
Imagine imagine the police come to yours, and then they come into your house and see a donkey sleeping in your bathtub. That must be some shock to the system.
Where did that come from? To be fair, I do apply that same law to my own life. I've broken that law a few times. Doesn't mean that donkeys should. Good on you, Arizona. If this is true, this one is absolutely brilliant, okay? It's strictly prohibited, right, to pronounce Arkansas incorrectly.
Wow.
Like some Burke's going to do that. But, something to keep in mind, I suppose, if I am visiting the state at some point.
I like how he done it on purpose. He purposely said it wrong. Lock you up, man. California.
Oh, this is madness. Madness, I tell you. In the state of California, bathhouses are against the law. I believe that would probably disappoint the Romans. And donkeys. in the state of Colorado, it's actually illegal to permit one's llama to graze on city property. And if you're not outraged by that, you're not paying attention, right? Because llamas deserve the same rights as you and me, up to and including the consumption of city council grass. Okay, Meridian, Connecticut, you're up next. The use of a bean whistle in public is prohibited.
A bean whistle?
Firstly, I'm going to have to Google bean whistle to find out what that is. So give me a sec. Okay, it turns out that the leading fact about bean whistles is that their public use is prohibited in Meridian, Connecticut. Imagine bean known for that. That was a pun. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh, this one is amazing. In Fenwick, Delaware, it's illegal to have a picnic on the highway. So that would certainly change the story of Little Red Riding Hood, wouldn't it? With a little picnic basket. You know, instead of the big bad wolf, you'd have the sleek and slender Jaguar or the Volkswagen Beetle. So get Tim Burton on the phone.
Florida, this has got to be the alligator one, yeah?
In Florida, yes, Florida, having sexual relations
It's not.
with a porcupine is illegal.
Welcome to Florida. That's the most Floridian craziest law. That's just the most Floridian law I could think of. Or you could even make up, you know.
You know, just porcupines. Other animals, you can do what you want, apparently. Look, I'm obviously completely against interspecies.
To be fair, I think this is one of the laws that probably is enforced. If you caught someone having sex with a porcupine, I'm sure, or if a police officer caught someone doing that, I'm sure that person would be arrested. So this is one of those that probably is gonna be like actually enforced, and probably right. I mean, probably like not probably rightly so. I mean, I'm not gonna say probably to that because that, yeah, rightly so, not probably, rightly so.
Relations of any kind, but surely the last animal that you want to, you know, I mean, if anybody would, it's Florida man. So this is in Athens, Georgia. Owners of mules.
Some of their names in the US always baffle me. Athens in Georgia. But I was thinking about Greece.
May not allow their animal to roam around Athens unsupervised. What about, you know, when it reaches 18? The parent can't coddle it forever. One day the mule is going to grow up and fly the nest and fulfill its destiny by dazzling the under-5s at the 2022 Georgia State Fair.
Hawaii.
This one is amazing if it's true and gives me great hope for the state of Hawaii. In the state of Hawaii, billboards are outlawed. You can't use them. You can't put them up.
What?
So, you know, who lets them know that Jesus has risen? Because, yeah, I can tell they don't want to find out by text alert at this point. They're past those.
Idaho.
This one's quite uplifting. In Pocatello, Idaho, a person may not be seen in public without a smile on their face. Yet hopefully the sad people are good at handstands in that case. I'm going to Pocatello soon, and this has actually put a smile on my face. All right, here in my own city, in the city of Chicago, this is absolutely crazy. It's forbidden to fish while sitting on a giraffe's neck. Now, forgive me if I'm overthinking this, I might be just a tad, but I think that this law might be impossible to break. The only giraffes I can think of in Chicago are at Lincoln Park Zoo. So I don't know if you know the layout of Lincoln Park Zoo, but the giraffes are in fact housed kind of next to the Arctic tundra.
Where do you get this law? Who makes this law up?
So if you go fishing there, all you're going to do is agitate a polar bear, and they've got enough problems as it is.
Indiana.
All right, you want some hard labor? Let's go to the state of Indiana, where apparently, this is according to law, all males 18 to 50 years old must work 6 days a year on public roads. And having myself lived in Indiana, I know that this law isn't enforced because no one works on the roads. We used to joke, my wife and I, that you could tell when you'd cross the state line into Ohio because all of the potholes disappeared.
Fair enough.
I think this one might be my absolute favourite of the lot. In Marshalltown, Iowa, specifically, horses are forbidden to eat fire hydrants. I think it seems unfair, to ban this for all horses just because of one moment of madness. Why not have kind of a hydrant banquet on the third Thursday of every month, or when there are no fires? Easy.
What the fuck?
Oh, that absolutely had to be one of these stories, didn't there? In Derby, or is it Derby, Kansas, hitting a vending machine that stole your money is illegal. So all I can think there is...
I mean, there's a lot of people, to be fair, there's a lot of people that will get in trouble there, because when you put something into a vending machine and it doesn't come out, that would drive you crazy.
Is the stand your ground rule doesn't apply. I swear that vending machines get away with murder sometimes. Actually, apparently that's true, isn't it? 7 people a year die at the hands of vending machines. That's more than sharks.
What? How?
Okay, in the state of Kentucky, one may not dye a duckling and offer it for sale unless more than 6 are for sale at once. So my question there is, are there any good 3 for 2 offers going at the minute? I'm asking for my cat. He likes ducks. He's fond of them, fond of ducks. He wouldn't, nothing malicious. He needs friends. I tried.
What the fuck?
Okay, in Louisiana, and I believe this is statewide, persons could land in jail for up to 10 years for stealing an alligator.
Oh, so this is where it was then.
On the other hand, they could end up dead for doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Perhaps stick to mice. Oh, this one's great. It's not even a technicality. It's actually written into the law. It is illegal to park in front of Dunkin' Donuts. That's in Berwick, Maine, however you pronounce it, in that neck of the woods. If they could make Dunkin' Donuts illegal, I would be on board.
I've never had Dunkin' Donuts, to be fair, so I can't really say if I like it or not.
For some reason, ducklings found their way into these crazy laws a lot. In Maryland, it is a violation of city code to sell chicks or ducklings to a minor within 1 week of the Easter holiday. That law is sort of adorable, isn't it? It actually makes me think of my little niece, although I usually wait until Christmas, so I'd be fine. I don't know what they're playing out with this one. This is in the state of Massachusetts. Apparently, no gorilla is allowed in the back seat of any car. Noted, don't use Massachusetts as a filming location for my parody film, Gorillas in the Mitsubishi. So I had to work for that one.
What the fuck?
In Detroit, Michigan, putt-putt golf courses must close between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Wow.
And I see what you're doing there, Detroit. You're trying to make putt-putt seem more like professional golf by making sure everybody falls asleep. Perfect. This is
Sending shots at golf, man. I mean, to be fair, I'm all for that. I am all for that. Golf, just don't understand it. But to be fair, a lot of people seem to enjoy golf. But like the same with like cricket, I just can't see myself sitting there and just watching it. I just want to do something else instead.
Cottage Grove, Minnesota. Airplanes may not be landed in city parks. So I think somebody...
What if it's an emergency? I mean, I guess maybe because there's loads of people there, but...
needs to pass that one on to Harrison Ford. In the state of Mississippi, it is illegal to teach others what polygamy is. So I have a friend, actually, in Mississippi, and I'm pretty sure that he's not trying to teach anybody what polygamy is. Even his wives. Okay, and finally, the first part of America's weird state laws is Missouri. And in the state of Missouri, installation of bathtubs with 4 legs resembling animal paws is prohibited.
What?
It's like they're worried that the bath is going to turn into a donkey, trot off to Arizona, and break the law. So what we've discovered so far then in the first half of this series is that US laws are unfairly biased toward donkeys, ducklings, and bathtubs.
That last one, what the? You can't have animal legs or animal like feet as like the bottom of the bathtub, like the bathtub legs. What? Well, there we go. This is part 1 of crazy American laws, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. I know these aren't going to be enforced, other than the porcupine one most likely, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. And until next time, peace.